on the floor is blocking the screen. Just move it off the table. Move the laptop off the table. Ah. Gaur Premanandi. Is the sound on? It's on. It's on. Can you turn the volume up a little? Yes, over here. Now you selected this topic, Chapter 6 summary? You did. Who's we did? You did or and the CNJ did? 6th chapter right now. That's why I did chapter 15 on Sunday. Because you're doing 6th chapter right now. I'm confused. Are you confused?
No. They asked for 15th chapter.
Who's they? Although you're doing chapter 6. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So is the person who requested that I make this summary of chapter 6 online, listening? Can you unmute yourself? The devotee who asked me to do this.
Mr. Prabhu? Is it on the Zoom?
Can you unmute yourself? Because I want to have a little chat with you before we begin.
Speaker is going to speak. Is the speaker on for the people? No. No, they are speaking. They dub it to the speaker. I mean, TV volume. Yeah, it's up. See, the volume is coming to laptop. Hare Krishna Prabhu, could you hear me? Mr. Prabhu? Yeah, looks like speaker is not there. I'll get it. Okay, is there a Bluetooth? Do you have the Bluetooth? Yes.
Well, we can proceed without it. Wow, it's really got a big echo.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, Gujarat.
Let's try again. Can you hear me?
मैं अभी तो बोला था स्पीकर लेके आओ. प्रभु
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
100%.
hold on.
we're adjusting things on your end and our end so that we can hear each other. But if it's not working out, I'll just skip it.
I can hear you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, there you are.
Can somebody on mute?
I was asked to make a chapter summary of Chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga. And as I began that exercise, I found not exactly mission impossible, but I found that I would not be doing justice to any part of Chapter 6 by just flying 35,000 feet in the air and making, a quick comment about this and that and the other thing, because Chapter 6 is an important chapter, and there's too much in it for me to feel satisfied just doing a 35,000 foot overview. So what I did instead is I went from verse 1 to verse 26 out of 47. It's a little bit more than halfway. So whoever does this next, you do your chapter summary, they can start from text 27 if you want someone to do that until the end. Because I felt important to explain some of the step by step teachings, and because otherwise it's not satisfying. So that's a little explanation to the organizer that asked me to do this chapter summary. And also when I walked in here and I saw the children in Kirtan, I thought, uh-oh, they're going to walk out of here real fast, because this isn't going to be interesting for children at all. But they went somewhere to do what children do, and so it's now less challenging for me. Chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita comes right after Chapter 5 Bhagavad Gita. And in Chapter 5 Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, Action, and Krishna Consciousness, there's a sequence of Sakam Karma Yoga and Nishkam Karma Yoga, and Krishna concludes by saying that one can achieve understanding in him or meditate, being absorbed in him through Nishkam Karma Yoga. And then he concludes the chapter by saying the same can be achieved by Ashtanga Yoga. That opens the door for Chapter 6. And that's where Chapter 6 begins. Krishna explaining Ashtanga Yoga, or Atma Samyamya Yoga. You'll see the meaning of these terms as we move along. Atma Samyama Yoga. That's the concluding stages of the Ashtanga Yoga system. And it's a mystic yoga, and it's not effective in this age. The principles are equally applicable in Bhakti Yoga, so it's meaningful for Bhakti yogis to understand these stages and steps and so forth. We just don't follow the same stages and steps and so forth. It's a different yoga system, but the stages and steps are relevant for Bhakti Yoga practitioners. Self-control and mind control. When we do our japa meditation, these points apply in japa meditation. Here's a chart that outlines the 6 different sections within chapter 6. So there's some terminology that we're not yet used to in the Hare Krishna movement, but you'll be seeing them a few times in this summary. So you take a look at the first 2 sections, the stage where one works through detached work, one engages in the Ashtanga Yoga practice, the meditation practice, through engaging in Karma Yoga, detached work, Nishkam Karma Yoga. That's to have some purifying effect on the mind. And then the stage that follows that is where one no longer needs to give serious attention to work that's detached from the fruits, but you can cease activity and just do meditation. That's the very elevated stage, Yoga Rudha stage it's called. So the beginning is Raruksha, and the advanced is Yoga Rudha, giving up work. And what are the symptoms and who's qualified and all of that. The third section is further breakdown in the eightfold yoga system and what are the practices that are effective and so on. And we're not going to get to the next 3. We're going to get as far as verse 26. Okay, so now we're going look up at the top of this chart. We're going to take a look at this detached work, advancing in yoga through detached work. So what's the difference between, or the similarities between sannyas and yoga? It's a little delicate, a little subtle. I mean, for the Western mind or conditioned souls in the modern age, it's too subtle. It slips right through your fingers. But it's important for those who want to progress on the yoga path. Detachment from sense objects, sannyas. Detachment from contemplating the enjoyment one may get from contacting sense objects. You'll see. And then the next 2 verses, in the beginning, work in the detached spirit. As one progresses, then the detached spirit is achieved. One no longer desires, that's the yoga, nor works for, that's the karma yoga, sense gratification. So that's a little outline of the first 4 verses.